Well, it had to come. After all, it is 1984, and while we don't have Big Brother bawling at us from loudspeakers, we do have the Speaking House. It's been put together by VADAS, that's short for Voice Achieved Domestic Appliance System, quite a mouthful, and it's part of an exhibition on in Birmingham. Peter Green dropped in at the Speaking House and saw the man behind it, Mal Hyams.
We're trying to put together a system here using off-the-shelf components. That means the television behind this is a bulk standard television, the radio is bulk standard, and controlling them via voice, which is quite useful if you're disabled. For instance, you've had a stroke, then via voice you can control your environment, switch lights on and off, turn heaters on and off, etc.
Well, okay, this is the start of the day, and we start the day with a cup of tea, I guess, or do we put the lights on?
Well, whatever you wish. We have one light on, curtains are open. What would you like to do?
Well, since daylight is broken, let's put the lights on.
Light 3. Middle light. We're feeling a bit chilly, so we can have the heater on. Let's assume it's getting dark. Curtains.
Curtains opening.
They are open. How about closing them? Close curtains.
Curtains closing.
Thank you. Would you like a cup of tea?
Yeah, I'd like the curtains opened again first, though I feel a bit claustrophobic.
Curtains.
Curtains opening.
And certainly now that cup of tea would be nice.
And all we have to do is give the command tea, and the tea's made switches on.
Well, let's take life easy. Let's have a look at the telly. You can control that as well.
Yes, you can control not just the television. You can take it through stations, volume up, volume down.
Ready.
1. Picture. Mix. Text. 1. 7. 7. 8.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So now I've selected page 178, which gives me European flying times.
Well, it made this cup of tea for us. We'd better drink it, hadn't we? Perhaps you'd ask it to close the curtains, then we can settle down for the night.
By all means.
Cheers.
Close curtains.
Curtains closing. Hello, my name is Vedas. Your wish is my command.
Well, Vedas, it's very nice having an electronic sleigh ball of my own. I'll tell you what, it's 1 o'clock, time for Pebble Mill, so let's have the television on. Hello and welcome to the show, and particularly welcome to Vedas, the world's very first all-talking and answering room. It's probably the thing that's going to see an end to all domestic chores, but could also see the end of television presenters. For example, Vedas, what's on the show today?
We have, for your pleasure and entertainment, a tribute to the lad himself, Tony Hancock, Valerie Gans, and Hermione Pictures.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Vedas, but before all of that, let's have some music from America, the fabulous Drifters, who are going to spend Saturday night at the movies.
Well, it's good to get indoors after that freezing cold garden. I could do with some heat, actually. Yes, I think I'll switch on the heater without even moving from my seat. Switch. And heater. There we are. No effort at all. What else would I like? Let me think. A nice cup of tea would be nice. Tea. And there's the tea's made on, ready to make my tea for me. Lovely. Oh, I could get used to this. I'm sure that all those of you at home are dying to find out what Vedas is all about. There you are. I've just been here a few seconds already. I've switched on the heater and the tea's made without moving from my seat. So let's bring in the man behind Vedas. If you'd like to come and join us, please. Mal Hyams. And Mal, welcome. Vedas, we'd better explain first of all what the initials stand for.
VADAS stands for Voice Activated Domestic Appliance System. It's a box that has been put together to demonstrate currently what electronics can do to help people with special needs, the disabled. It was put together with government funding from Department of Trade and Industry, and I think we've got something which demonstrates fairly well the state of the art of technology of today.
Without getting too involved, could you explain to a layman like myself how it actually works?
Yes, let's face it, in the past, when you were involved in computing, you had a keyboard and a VDU floppy disk drives and all sorts of things which most people like me didn't understand. So we had the idea, well, let's do away with the keyboard, let's talk to a machine and have it talk back. Because computers are very powerful and they can do a lot of different functions at once, we've programmed here to open and close curtains, doors, turn lights on and off, as you've seen, make tea as you turn the heater on, tune a hi-fi, play a tape, fast forward, rewind. It really is, it's as limitless as your imagination, what can be achieved.
But if, say, our cameraman had come on there instead of myself and spoken to that machine, the machine wouldn't have recognized his voice, would it?
Ignore him totally.
So what does one have to do then to be sure that the computer will recognize one's voice?
We have to spend a little bit of time with the person that wants to operate the equipment so the computer can learn to understand their voice. It doesn't have to be English, it could be Greek or Russian or Spanish or whatever. And it doesn't have to be coherent speech, which is where it's obviously useful for the disabled. Any utterance will make it operate.
You mentioned the disabled there. It's obviously important, for instance, for somebody who's blind, that the machine should be able to speak back and say, the curtains are closed, for instance, before you get undressed, kind of thing.
Yes.
Right. Actually, I wonder if you, since you're the expert, can show me perhaps one or two more of the ramifications of this.
Would you like to say master? That takes it back to the main menu, which then allows me to talk to it. Otherwise, it'll ignore me. It'll still think I'm you.
Master. That's it? It's gone to the...
Ready.
That's it. Now it tells you it's ready.
Didn't even see my
Try and
notes
take
now,
the
did you?
guesswork out. I'll need the other
Right.
box.
Can I give you your box of tricks over?
Thank you.
So, what does this do then? Do something weird, wonderful, complicated, and involved.
Oh dear, weird, wonderful, complicated, and involved. First of all, I have to give my sign on, and all I do is say to it, hello. It's accepted my word, I think,
Yes,
and
it
it'll
has.
come back and say ready.
Ready.
Now it's accepted my voice print, so let's, translation. Translation.
It needs translation.
Yes.
It can't understand you. It needs a translator. You can switch the telly off as well.
Translation.
Says
Ready. Which language would you like?
French.
Please speak now.
Hello, how are you?
Bonjour. Comment ça va?
What time is it?
Quelle heure est-il?
Finish.
Merci.
I'll give you an idea. That's just basically translating an English input into
Ready.
French. Now it's telling me it's ready to do something else. Curtains.
Curtains opening.
Close curtains.
Curtains closing.
incredible.
I-
This is just still at its basic stages. How do you see it developing in the future?
Well, at the moment, you see, we have to hand over headsets because this is the Mark I of VEDAS. On the drawing board at the moment is Mark II. That won't have a microphone or a headband or a lead wandering about. We're trying to get a transmitter mic, similar to the ones that are worn by yourselves, and a loudspeaker which will fit somewhere around your person. Imagine you're in the kitchen and you want to do a recipe. You want to make a chocolate sponge. Well, you can just say to the computer, recipe. It'll ask you which recipe you like. You say chocolate sponge, and it'll read out all the ingredients for you, turn the oven on, and when it's finished, it'll turn the oven off and tell you the oven's off.
Well, I think the tea's ready. Actually, Marion, if you'd like to come and join us for a cuppa. As Marion comes in, Mal, perhaps you could tell us where people can see this wonderful room.
Well, we're at the Birmingham International Hotel tomorrow from 10 till 4. Then we're going over to Switzerland to an international exhibition, Sheffield, and we tour all the way around the country.
Lovely, okay.
It's better than having a man in the house, actually.
I'll go and have a look at
You
the
could
tea.
actually pour. It hasn't got round to pouring yet,
No,
I
not
see.
quite, not quite.
The microcomputer has had a dramatic effect, hasn't it, on the world of business and leisure. But now the all-powerful silicon chip is being put to use helping disabled people. A British firm has found a way of training a computer to obey spoken orders. The computer and its uses go on show at Sheffield Polytechnic tomorrow as part of an exhibition of what's called the Concerned Technology. Ken Cooper's been along to see what's been achieved.
Ready.
The device is called VEDAS, the Voice-Activated Domestic Appliance System. Inside here is a computer trained to understand and obey human voice commands. Britain leads the world in the use of new technology to help disabled people, and this is the latest bright idea. Watch.
Heater. Heater off. Light 1. TV.
Ready.
One.
Cut pause, and I think that he's probably better over the bar.
What the hell are you playing at, Mrs. Hamilton?
Curtains opening. Ready.
No.
Door closing.
This looks like a wonderful gimmick, a wonderful box of tricks. Is it anything more than that?
Ah, yes, I think it's a good example of what currently technology can do for people with special needs. We have a system here which, as you've seen, can open and close curtains and doors, which is very useful if you're unable to do so for yourself.
Heater off. Tea.
Anyone can run it, but we need to spend a little bit of time with the individual who intends to use it to program their voice for the computer to understand their voice. Voice entry systems are great stress analyzers. If you're under the slightest bit of stress, then the computer will recognize that. And so we have to train it 4 or 5 times to say the same word, curtains. You would say it 5 times, and then the computer will understand your voice as opposed to mine. So everybody's voice print is different.
You need to learn to love the machine, then, do you?
Well, you can't shout at it because it'll ignore you.
What would this machine mean to a disabled person?
Well, it would mean that they can have a lot more independence and possibly in time gain some useful employment. And that's where I think most of the interest will lie, is usefully employing and gaining independence for the disabled person.
Curtains closed.
Ready. Curtains closing. Ready.
There's another exhibition going on in Newcastle, a very important one, which provides a lot of hope for disabled people. It also affords a look into the future with quite an ordinary-looking living room in which just about every task can be carried out electronically, and it all happens on a voice command. Simon Willis has been along to see how it all works.
Called Concerned Technology, the exhibition sets out to show just what the age of the microchip can do to make life easier for people who are disabled in any way. For the deaf, or those with speech problems, there's a special machine for sending printed messages down telephones. For the blind, there's an electronic braille typewriter that can talk. But without doubt, the highlight of the exhibition is VEDAS, the voice-activated domestic appliance system. For a person who's disabled, VEDAS will take care of just about everything, as local school children demonstrated.
Heater. Tea's made. Light 1. TV. Camera.
Please speak your name and your purpose into the camera.
It is being used quite a lot at the moment. The Department of Trade and Industry have a scheme for home work units where we place equipment like this in someone's home, which enables them to work from home.
The Concerned Technology exhibition is running till Saturday at the Eldon Square Recreation Centre. Admission's free.
A room which can hear, talk and obey spoken commands has gone on show in London. As James Wilkinson reports, it's the highlight of an exhibition of information technology designed to help disabled people with special needs.
Close curtains.
Curtains closing.
Tea's made. Heater. Light 1.
It's called VEDAS, Voice-Activated Domestic Appliance System. A computer recognizes the human voice and carries out its instructions.
Ready.
Channel 1. 4.
Security is effective. The computer can be trained to respond only to one voice, so
Heater.
no one else can open the door.
Front door.
Door opening. Door closing.
How many words does the computer recognize?
The total vocabulary is really unlimited. We talk about vocabulary sizes ranging between 100 and 250 words at one time, but stored on the disk unit within the computer, we can have many sets of these vocabularies, and we can hop from one vocabulary to another. So therefore, the total vocabulary is virtually unlimited.
Which language?
It can dial a telephone number, write a letter, or even translate.
Hello, how are you?
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Do you speak English?
Parlez-vous anglais?
What time is it?
Quelle heure est-il?
Finished.
Merci.
It would cost quite a bit for a disabled person to have this equipment fitted into their sitting room, but as the technology develops, the costs will come down. And as voice recognition improves, there's virtually no limit to what it might eventually do.
And the walls with ears in the room that answers back. Thank you, John. Now, still with architecture, what's claimed to be the first room in the world that will listen and talk back to you. It's gone on show in London today. Known as VEDAS, it's completely controlled by simple voice commands. And the Department of Industry is hoping that the technology that's involved will prove a big help to the handicapped.
The room, reduced to a large cocktail cabinet size for travelling exhibition purposes, contains a number of ordinary domestic appliances and fittings, all of which can be activated by a microcomputer and personal voice commands.
Front door.
Door opening.
Aimed specifically at the handicapped, VEDAS nevertheless affords a golden opportunity for the congenitally lazy. Now, without rising from his bed, the slothful plutocrat can turn on the television,
TV.
warm the bedroom,
Heater.
and type up all that tedious business correspondence.
Here, sir. Phone conversation.
The Department of Trade and Industry, who are promoting the idea under their Concerned Technology programme, say the activating electronics can be supplied for just £1,000, with all sorts of extras on top of that.
Fill the bath, act as a security device. If you go on holiday, you say alarm, it'll sense if water's running down a pipe it shouldn't be. Your fish tank, it'll automatically feed your fish, that's no problem. It'll tell if your freezer temperature's getting too high or too low. It'll make telephone calls in your absence from pre-recorded messages, turn television or lights on or off at various times to simulate somebody's there. And really, it's as limited as your imagination.
Meanwhile, having given you all that spare time, VEDAS will even help improve your mind, with a little chit-chat in any language of your choice.
Do you speak English?
Parlez-vous anglais?
What time is it?
Quelle heure est-il?
Stephen Chambers for Thames News.
Those computers will be doing my job next.
Modern technology can help the disabled went on show in Bristol today. Among the exhibits, computers that can help the sufferers of multiple sclerosis, aids to communicate those who have speech defects, and a car which can give freedom and delight to those who can't walk. And Nankable reports.
Computers can be put to all sorts of uses. This one's for the blind.
With this machine we can learn to type without seeing.
The voice box tells the typist which keys have been struck on either ordinary or Braille keyboards. And it will speak to those learning to read Braille too. The fingers feel the word, the computer repeats it and spells it.
W-H-E-R-E, where?
We lead the world in producing aids for the disabled. The exhibition, open tomorrow and Sunday, has been mounted by the Department of Trade and Industry, who want to keep it that way, and to interest everyone in the range that's available, from computers which can teach the deaf to read, to systems which can operate a whole household by the flick of a switch, the heating, the lights, the television, or perhaps the radio. This machine, the Chatterbox, can give the power of speech, wonderful socially and in time of trouble.
Hello, this is an emergency. Can you help me, please?
You can just imagine how much use this would be to someone who couldn't actually speak. Well, that's all from me for now.
Goodbye.
Any invention that helps make life more bearable. But in Southampton this weekend, there are literally dozens of novel ideas in action, as Steve McDonnell found out.
It's not a moon buggy, it's actually a wheelchair. And it's a pretty smooth ride on the road or the pavement. The Lion car is built at Poole in Dorset, and the makers predict it'll soon be a common sight. Today, it was just another exhibit. The Department of Trade and Industry have financed this travelling show to demonstrate what they call the compassionate face of modern technology. Dozens of new inventions based on computers and microprocessors should be able to help the disabled lead a fuller life. There's suddenly a new way to use a pen, even a typewriter. With this machine, scrawled messages are a thing of the past. For the partly sighted, a gadget like this can make everything come clear and amuse the children, even though they've got a stand of their own, showing that toys are still the best stimulus to learning. Here, everyone is encouraged to have a go, and all day this man has been taking them at their word, reading Catch-22 on a machine that magnifies written text.
Oh, excuse me, can I interrupt you? We're told this is the first book you've read in 22 years.
2 years, yes.
Why is that?
Well, I'm registered blind and I had an accident, you see, and when I come to, I was totally blind, but I've got a bit of sight coming back in my left eye, but I can't read without a reading aid, and it's so cumbersome, I've got to hold the book right to my eye, but with this, you see, I can skip this far back and read. That's something I haven't done.
Just by moving a little joystick, they can operate electric appliances all over the house, using coded messages through the mains supply. It'll operate the television remote control, with a CFAX setting.
The very first thing I saw when I came in was a little device which helps people that stutter. And I went to school with a lad that had a terrible stutter, and it was agony for him. And yet, if he'd been here now, he can get something which just modifies his voice and helps him along, and there's a little signal comes up if he's speaking too quickly. There's one or two in your profession should get one, actually.
Or stay on show at Southampton University till 4 o'clock on Sunday. There are plenty of demonstrations, but if you want to go on the enlarger machine, you'll have to be patient. Catch-22 is a very long book.
Now for that brand new invention reported on yesterday's news round, which could make life a lot easier for disabled people. It's called VADAS, which stands for Voice Activated Domestic Appliance System, and we're lucky enough to have it here in the studio. Just watch this. Light. Light off. This light is being switched on and off by my voice. There's no trickery involved, there isn't someone hiding around the corner pressing a switch. It's solely my voice that's doing it. It all works by a computer and other electronic equipment, and this prototype over here shows exactly the kind of results that VADAS can achieve. It basically works like any other computer. You simply key in your instructions down here, and this particular computer has been programmed to receive and react to my voice and my voice alone. Now, as you can see, I've got a microphone attached to a headband, and the instructions from my voice go along this lead here and simply into the back of the computer. Okay, I'll have another go. Light 2. There we are, got it. That's very clever, isn't it? Well, there are lots of other commands which are particularly useful for disabled people. All they need is a microphone like this one I've got here, and this could simply be attached to their wheelchair or even fastened to their bed. And you can use VADAS to switch on and off an incredible variety of household appliances. Let's see if we can make a cup of tea. Just switch my microphone on, all right? Tea maker. Brilliant. And if you're feeling a bit chilly, you could put the fire on as well. Fire. And there comes the fire. Isn't that marvellous?
It is. Must give you a sense of power as well. Can I have a go?
Yeah. See what you can do, Janet.
I'm going to try and thwart your cup of tea here. Tea maker off. Not a sausage.
No chance. No. Just to prove that it's only working with my voice, tea maker off. Tremendous.
You've obviously got the touch. And just to prove that there isn't any trickery involved, there is nobody behind here, lurking around here, operating a battery of switches. There is definitely no cheating.
Okay, well, I've got the curtains now, Janet.
Right.
Curtains. Try again. Curtains.
Curtains opening.
Amazing. Curtains close.
Curtains closing.
VADAS speaks to you in that Dalek type of voice if he's operating something around the house that is out of sight of a disabled person. And there's an absolutely endless list of other things that you can work with it. Let's try and get the telly on. TV. Usually takes a few seconds to warm up. Okay. BBC One. BBC One. Here it comes. And we should, any second now, get a very familiar picture. How about that? Blue Peter, of course. Now, if there's a problem around the house, if you're in distress, there's an emergency, or you're simply just not feeling well, the command then is environment. So we'll have a go at that. Environment. There he goes. Alarm.
Ready.
Alarm. And as you'll gather, a very, very effective buzzer, and what's more, Goldie heard it bright and clear. But I think the best bit of electronic trickery is VEDAS's ability to translate and also store another language. So let's have a go at French. Okay, and the word to say is translation. Translation.
Ready. Which language would you like?
French.
Please speak now.
What time is it?
Do
you speak English?
Parlez-vous anglais?
Finish.
Merci.
Isn't that amazing? Well, now I'm going to be very ambitious for my pièce de résistance. As it's St David's Day, I thought it would be rather nice to try something in Welsh. Now, what I want VEDAS to do is switch this light off, and if I can find what the phrase is, you'll have to excuse the pronunciation. The Welsh for light out is Gorley Bant. I think that really is miraculous, I'm sure you'll agree.
The brains of the system is a simple personal computer connected to a box of electronic wizardry that turns the human voice into language the computer can understand. The computer then directly controls any number of appliances and can even open and close doors.
TV off. Tape. Play tape.
Voice recognition technology obviously has great possibilities in other areas, such as controlling motor vehicles, typewriters and factory machinery. Even in the field of television news, the system can be a great labour-saving device.
This is Peter Newport reporting from London for National 9 News.
Handicapped people in Britain could benefit from a new living room which went on show in London today. It's the world's first speaking and listening room, and Paul dropped in earlier today.
Front door.
Door opening.
Like Alibaba's cave, one command opens the door.
Curtain.
Everything in this specially built room is voice operated. The whole system is called VADAS, Voice Activated Domestic Appliance System. By simply speaking into the microphone, lights will turn on and off. You can flick through the channels on the television and even write a letter. Like most modern technology, it's a computer that provides the magic. It recognizes the voice and then carries out the instructions. It's a terrific step forward for blind people, as Hazel Dudley told me.
It means a good thing to a blind person, actually, because where other people can do things by remote control, by just the flick of a switch, because it's easy for them to see which button to press to do what, of course you're just speaking to it and it just does what you want.
The number of words a computer will understand is, reckon the makers, unlimited. At the moment, it can even act as a translator. Now the aim is to develop yet more computer programs for the whole system.
Time for the news and regional magazines in 60 minutes.
A room that can hear, talk and obey the spoken word has gone on display in London. It's the highlight of an exhibition of technology designed to help the disabled.
Close curtains.
Curtains frozen.
Tea's made. Heater. Light 1.
It's called VEDAS, Voice Activated Domestic Appliance System. A computer recognizes the human voice and carries out its instructions.
Ready.
Channel 1. 4.
Security is effective. The computer can be trained to respond only to one voice, so no one else can open the door.
Front door.
Door opening.
It can dial a telephone number, write a simple letter from dictation, and even translate.
Please speak now.
Hello, how are you?
Bonjour.
Do you speak English?
Parlez-vous anglais?
What time is it?
Quelle heure est-il?
Finished.
Merci.